What happens when a legendary musician sits down for what's meant to be a respectful, celebratory interview,
It's just so exciting to finally be here and share this moment with you. I know, right? This is going to be amazing.
but instead faces subtle disrespect from someone she helped influence? In barely half a minute, Jennifer Hudson shifted from gracious host to awkward interrogator.
What happens when a legendary musician sits down for what's meant to be a respectful, celebratory interview, but instead faces subtle disrespect from someone she helped influence? In barely half a minute, Jennifer Hudson shifted from gracious host to awkward interrogator, turning a moment that should have honored a legend into a clear example of how not to interview your heroes. This is the account of how Chaka Khan, the undisputed queen of funk, finally had enough, stood her ground, and walked off Jennifer Hudson's show, leaving the host struggling to recover live on air. Imagine this: Chaka Khan, the iconic voice behind I'm Every Woman, a singer Jennifer Hudson herself has openly called a major inspiration, seated across from her on national television. What should have been a tribute to a music icon slowly morphed into something uncomfortable. Hudson, buoyed by her own achievements, appeared to forget she was speaking to someone who helped shape the very path she walks today. And history shows, when royalty is disrespected, consequences follow. On paper, the booking looked perfect. Jennifer Hudson's talk show was gaining traction, and inviting Chaka Khan felt like a major win. It was supposed to be a heartfelt conversation, admiration, gratitude, maybe even a musical moment. The audience expected warmth and mutual respect. No one anticipated what unfolded instead. Chaka Khan entered the set with the confidence of a woman who had earned her place through decades of hard work. At 70, she carried herself with grace, experience, and quiet authority. She smiled, took her seat, and prepared for what she believed would be a meaningful exchange between two artists. Hudson, however, seemed unsettled. Whether it was nerves or something deeper, her energy felt scattered from the start. Her question sounded scripted, and a noticeable tension filled the room. "So, Chaka," Hudson began, her tone unusually stiff, "you've been in this industry for a very long time." Right there, the shift was noticeable. Instead of reverence, the wording carried an unintended edge. Chaka, ever composed, smiled politely and responded warmly, clearly trying to keep things positive. "I've been fortunate to enjoy a long career," she said. But Hudson continued, steering the conversation in a direction that revealed more than she likely intended. "You've seen so many changes. Things are very different now compared to when you started in the 70s. The implication was subtle but sharp, as if Chaka's era belonged to distant history rather than being the foundation of modern music. A slight change crossed Chaka's face. The smile tightened. She noticed. "Music always evolves," Chaka replied calmly. "But real music never goes out of style." It was a gentle correction, one Hudson failed to catch. Hudson nodded but pressed on. "Don't you think artists today have to work harder? With streaming, social media, and all the pressure now?" The suggestion was staggering. Sitting across from a woman who navigated an industry stacked against her, Hudson implied modern artists had it tougher. Chaka straightened. The warmth faded. "Harder," Chaka replied, her voice firm. "You don't know what hard was. We had no internet, no streaming checks. Every opportunity had to be fought for." The atmosphere shifted instantly. Instead of pulling back, Hudson leaned further in. "But today we have to be everything: singer, actress, entrepreneur, influencer. Back then, you could just focus on the music." That phrase, "just focus on the music," landed like an insult. As if Chaka hadn't battled labels, sexism, exploitation, and systemic racism while building her career. Chaka leaned forward, intensity rising. "Do you hear yourself?" she said. "We wrote, produced, performed, toured non-stop, all while fighting for respect in a male-dominated industry. We built audiences one show at a time, without any of the tools you rely on now." Hudson flushed, clearly shaken, yet still tried to defend her stance. "I'm not minimizing your achievements. I'm saying the industry is more complex today." "Complex?" Chaka echoed. Complex was being a black woman in the 70s, fighting for songwriting credit and radio play. The studio fell silent. This was no longer an interview, it was a lesson unfolding in real time. Hudson hesitated but continued anyway. "Times have changed. Artists like me need different skills. Artists like me." The words hung heavily. The implication was clear. Chaka went still, the kind of stillness that signals finality. "Artists like you," Chaka repeated quietly. "We built the blueprint you follow. We opened the doors you walked through." Hudson tried to recover, stumbling over her words. Chaka stopped her cold. "I know exactly what you meant." The tension was unbearable. Chaka stood, removing her microphone with deliberate calm. "I came here expecting respect. Instead, I was lectured about how easy I had it." Hudson pleaded for her to stay, voice finally sincere. But it was too late. Chaka delivered her final words with precision. "Hard work was surviving an industry that didn't want women like me to succeed. Hard work was creating greatness without shortcuts." Hudson, visibly shaken, could barely respond. The audience sat frozen. With one last look, Chaka said, "Your generation thinks struggle began with you. We didn't explain our hardships, we worked." And with that, she walked off, leaving Jennifer Hudson alone beneath the studio lights. The interview was beyond saving. Editing couldn't undo what viewers had just witnessed. As Chaka Khan disappeared backstage, she left behind a powerful reminder: respect cannot be performative. Legends aren't defined by numbers or platforms. They are earned through sacrifice, resilience, and truth. Jennifer Hudson learned a lesson that night, one no artist should forget. When you invite royalty to the table, you must know how to honor it. Because if you don't, a queen will remind you publicly, unapologetically, and with grace.